So it is likely that these two will be the ones that advance out of the groups, but they do have to play each other. So, you know, it's gonna see how that goes here. And it looks like the racers are underway. I got a little bit of stream delay for Asaddine, but we'll get that sorted out shortly. Both these runners are playing the game in Japanese. It is the fastest version of text that you can choose. You know, you don't have to choose a specific version of the game when you purchase the game, but you can choose language options. And of the tested languages, Japanese was found to be approximately 15 seconds faster than English. So that is the default choice for our runners. And we're not going to be starting off with green hills and, you know, coin blocks and all the standard first Mario World stuff. No, we get this black and white Tim Burton-esque Cap Kingdom we're in. Mario tried to rescue Peach from Bowser, was shot down, and got his hat torn to shreds. So he befriends this little cat named Cappy, and he's going to be your Cap for the rest of the game. So you can throw Cappy and use him to pull switches. You can use him as a platform to bounce off of like Asaddine just did. You can use him for all kinds of various things. He's an attack, pull switches, use his platform. He also has an additional ability, and this is probably the most significant one, is that when you throw Cappy at specific enemies, like, I don't know, a frog, say, you can actually capture the frog and become the frog and use the frog's abilities to maneuver through the rest of the level. You can become a frog, a Goomba, bullet bill, you know, a bunch of different things. So that's kind of one of the main mechanics of this game, in addition to using the hat as a platform. You know, opens up a bunch of different movement options. You can actually use your hat as a platform to get to the very top of this section, but it's faster to go with the frog. So we go with the frog because it's the fastest thing. And Fur heads out to the left, Asaddine heads out to the right. So we see a slight route divergence here. Fur's heading off to the left is slightly faster, performed optimally, but he does get a bonk here. So Asaddine, also hits a bonk, and a roll up there. Just 2 seconds behind Fur here, it's going to look like. And then Fur trying to get the quick kill, getting the jump, cancels and Asaddine also cancels the cycle onto the boss, gets the fast boss fight. Wow. About a second separating these runners, it looks like. Very, very close thus far. Very solid Cap Kingdom out of both of them. So Cap Kingdom is the one anomaly kind of in the run, in that it is the only kingdom in which you do not actually have to collect anything. You have to collect the hat and defeat the boss and get to the end, but that's it. Every other kingdom will see you collecting items. So in previous Mario games, we collected stars, like we've collected shine sprites. Not this time. This time we're collecting moons. And we need a certain number of moons to advance from one kingdom to the next. So here in Cascade Kingdom, we need 5 total moons to progress to the next kingdom. We're going to possess this Chain Chomp, break that giant rock, and reveal our very first power moon. That's the first moon of the run. Ver gets it just a second or two ahead of Asaddine. So this is going to be one of those cutscenes that they can skip. There are actually more cutscenes in Mario Odyssey than there were in Sunshine, but many more of them are skippable, and so you can cancel the viewing of a good number of them, actually, but not this one. And wow, it's within frames of these two runners here. They're going to be looking to get the remaining 4 moons to move on as quickly as possible. So it turns out that the fastest way of doing that is heading up to this dinosaur and taking control of it. You can actually maneuver the dinosaur to break these rocks, activate a trampoline underneath them. Oh, Fur doesn't get it the first time around. He has to get it, go around. That side gets it first try. And activate this boss cutscene to trigger the boss fight. Now, this boss, like most bosses in this game, can be fast cycled. You can actually cancel the Chain Chomp's attack animation. Actually, I was going to try to do it here. Jump on top of it. Yep. And get the quick capture and try to... didn't have enough room to get away from Bad and Brutal to trigger the Bullet flinging, or excuse me, Chain Chomp flinging back at her. So I'm going to have to give it another go around. But this boss fight gives you 3 moons instead of just a regular one. It's actually a grand moon or multi-moon, depending on which language you play in. So it's a quick couple of moons here for relatively minimal effort. Asaddine having a little bit of trouble getting the chain chomp to core operate there, but does eventually get the kill going. Yep, so now a slightly larger gap appearing between our runners, but it is still early in the run, so I'm going to say anything can happen. Minor hiccup there from Asaddine. There's nothing stopping Fur from having just as significant or more of a hiccup, you know. Lots of give and take in this sort of game where most of it is movement, but there are lots of different strats that have been developed that have varying levels of difficulty, varying levels of risk reward, and so different kinds of things that you might see runners doing or attempting or failing, or, you know, on and on and on it goes. So that there was the last moon that Fur needed to leave the Cascade Kingdom. Assadine is going to be heading up to it right now. There it is. And Fur is putting the moons into the Odyssey, which is the ship that you use to get around all the kingdoms in this game. And the Odyssey needs to be powered up, and so you use power moons to get it to travel further and further and further, chase down Bowser and rescue Princess Peach. So the Odyssey has been restored. Now it can actually fly places. So we're going to leave the Cascade Kingdom and head on to the Sand Kingdom. Now, the Sand Kingdom is a lot more interesting to watch than the Cascade Kingdom. Cascade Kingdom usually has the same routes across the board. There are 5 moons you need to progress. There are only so many moons you can get to fulfill the 5 requirement as quickly as possible. But to move on from the Sand Kingdom, you actually need, I believe it's 16 moons total. 14 or 16. I'm going to go with 16. If my memory serves correctly. And so, you have a bunch of different moons that you need to collect. Choose the 16 fastest among those. So little route deviations here and there, but there are generally 3 agreed upon routes that runners will choose between, and they're kind of tiered from an easiest to a hardest, least time save to most time save. So lots of different variations you can see here and there between runners, and then also different strats, right? So maybe you want to get the moon overlooking the town first, but you use this frozen fountain like Fur just did, or some runners will choose the bouncy umbrella, which I think Assadine is going to do now. Yep. So there you just see 2 different paths to get to the same moon. Assadine takes a little bit of a tumble. I'm going to try to get some alternate strats to get up, but yeah, you saw the fountain and the umbrella. Assadine chasing down the bird. Gonna activate the bird first before getting overlooking the town. Fur has not yet gotten the bird, so might get it a little later on in the route. Yep, so it can be a little bit deceptive here. If you look at the moon counter in the top left corner of the screen, so that was Fur's 3rd moon, and this will be Assadine's 3rd moon. So as far as moon count strictly is concerned, they're pretty close. Fur is physically further along in the level than Assaddine is right now, but Fur has not yet gotten the bird, and Assaddine has, so things to keep in mind here as routes deviate. So Assadine's actually going to go get employees only, which Fur did not get. Kind of further differentiating the choices that these runners are making here. So now Fur's going to try and do a trick here, getting up through using this icicle pillar to get up top here. And manipulating this bullet bill. So the bullet bill has homing properties. It homes in on Mario. And after he collects this moon, he's going to try to capture the bullet bill and ride it to a different moon. But the bullet bill does explode there. So now he has to wait for the next cycle, which is about 6 seconds. A little bit unfortunate there, given that he was specifically going to trying to manipulate that bullet bill, but now he has to wait for this one. It is possible to get a very first cycle bullet bill if you maneuver properly, but it is tough. So Assaddine going to be heading to the alcove and then perhaps attempting to do the very same thing that Fur just did. And Fur's getting a moon here, lost in the luggage. One of the very best. Now Fur has options here. Given the route he's going for, he might try to clip into the wall behind the Sphinx here, or he could just talk to the Sphinx. Looks like he's going to get on top of it and try to clip through. He's setting up. Oh, he doesn't quite get the clip that time. Let's see if he can get it. Second try. Gets it on his 3rd try. Not too bad. And Assaddine looks like he took a little tumble trying to get back up top where he was to the bullet bill. A little unfortunate there. So there's that ice pillar. Oh. Yep, so here's for inside the Sphinx room, grabbing the moon, and tons of coins. And these coins are relevant, because coins matter in this game. In each kingdom, there is a shop at which you can spend coins for outfits and, you know, hearts and that kind of stuff, but you can also buy a moon at each shop, and each moon costs 100 coins. In the current any percent route, there are 2 moons that are purchased, so you could say that the route costs 200 total coins. So getting that into that Sphinx room where there are oodles and oodles of coins is very helpful for runners, you know, given that they only want to make those 2 purchases. They only need one side generally, but trying to keep your coins is very important, as there are no lives in this game either. Dying just... Oh, we're going to see it here. Fur takes a little bit of a tumble into the purple goop and loses 10 coins. Since you don't have lives in this game, you lose coins upon death. So getting a bunch of coins from the Sphinx room and trying to keep them throughout your route is very important. Yeah, now that Fur had to walk all the way back and get this bullet bill, it's going to be a little sad at the time loss, and Asaddine will have a little chance to catch up here. Yeah, these runners are pretty close to each other now again. And Asaddine is able to get on top of the Jaxi ruins. No stress. No death. Yeah, a little bit of missteps from both sides here, but looks like they're pretty close to each other. Oh, Fur accidentally grabs the cactus again after getting the moon. Don't think he meant to do that. So yeah, here Fur is going to grab the moon from the dune and then the moon from the bird. Asaddine has already gotten the bird, so Assaddine's going to get the dune and then the moon from the notes on top of the tree to the right. So Fur is going to be able to teleport to the Odyssey here, but Asaddine's going to have to spend some time collecting another moon and then just roll back. So still a lead that Fur is happy to have, but Asaddine's going to be right behind, keeping him honest. There are several miscellaneous categories. So there's the standard any percent, which is guessing at the end of the game. There's also world peace. So what these runners are doing is they're completely ignoring the story missions in each of the kingdoms. They're just getting the minimum number of moons required to move on to the next kingdom. But world peace has you completing all the story missions in each of the kingdoms, plus the bare minimum moons required to move on, and getting to the end of the game that way. There's also a 250 moons category, a 500 moons category, the 880 and 100% categories. There are also a bunch of category extensions, actually, that are being developed right now. There's a jumpless category where you get to the end of the game without jumping, because it is possible. There's the infamous nipple percent. There's a whole bunch of categories for this game. So Fur in the Lake Kingdom hitting a bit of a bonk first off. Always a good way to start. Using the triple jump strats to get over here to the zipper. And Assaddine's going to be just 1 moon behind Fur. You can use motion controls to, once you have thrown your cap, use it to home in on specific targets there, but sometimes the game is not very cooperative, as we just saw on Fur's screen, and the cap just goes in directions that aren't really the ones you want. So it can be a little unfortunate there to not get what you're going for, but gets through eventually, you know. Motion controls are really... Oh, there's Asaddine also using an up throw with motion controls rather than a homing attack. Motion controls can be very finicky sometimes. Sometimes they can actually do what you want, and it feels really good, but other times they're just kind of all over the place. Yeah, so nipple percent is one of the memes, the meme categories, the category extensions for this game. You know, runners here aren't doing it because it does waste a bit of time in the any percent category, but you can change Mario's outfit, and you can, you know, dress him up as a pirate, dress him up as a doctor, all kinds of different stuff. But one of the outfits he has is the swim trunks. And since he's not wearing a shirt with his swim trunks, you can see his nipples. So the goal of nipple percent is to get to the Sand Kingdom, get 1,000 coins, and purchase the swim trunks. It's about a 10.5 minute category. Nipple percent. So both runners were able to get the cheap jump up to the boss arena, and are able to fast cycle the boss. This is still a very, very close race. Yeah. So the Lake Kingdom here is one of the shortest kingdoms in the entire run, so it goes by pretty quickly. Routing options are also really limited. They're before you do all the story missions in each of the kingdoms, only a specific number of moons are available to you. Once you've done the story, then the kingdom becomes completely unlocked, and you're free to go wherever you want and get all of the moons available to you. But before that, there are only so many moons you can get, and you need a certain number to advance. So there are only so many deviations you might see in a route in a kingdom like the Lake Kingdom. But here, we got Fur coming up and Asaddine just on his tail, headed to the Wooded Kingdom, which is one of the most movement-intensive kingdoms in the entire run. So, usually a chance for runners to be able to show their skill and strut their stuff and really show what they can do on a longer stretch of time, moving across large chunks of terrain and platforming and doing all kinds of different challenges. We'll get into them as they come, but this is kind of where the boys become the men, so to speak. So Fur gets the quick Mips capture there, gets the moon. Why are we doing an any percent turning when we could have a nipple percent? Well, I think that that is a good question, but I feel like this is the more given how new this game is, I think this is the more appropriate one to be running. As we delve into what is speedrunning this game any percent, and are there any things that we know thus far? And given that it's a 2-month-old game, I think that this run has come quite a ways. It's fairly optimized given the knowledge that we currently have. So many eyes have been on this run, and so many runners have been playing this, and it's come up quite a long way, and it's really impressive, I think, now versus 2 months ago. But both runners are able to spend their 100 coins to get their shot moons, heading up to break the first nut in the Wooded Kingdom. And Fur is capturing an uproot here. Now this is the main capture target in the Wooded Kingdom. It allows you to telescope the legs out like that, reach new heights, and bonk into nuts. And Fur's going to be headed straight to the Flooded Pipeway. There's generally a route deviation here. You can do the Flooded Pipeway first and then the maze, or the maze and then the Flooded Pipeway. But it looks like both the runners are going to be headed straight to the Pipeway itself. And because the water levels raise and lower here on a cycle, and the fuzzies are on a cycle, you're on a strict timer from when you enter the Flooded Pipeway until you exit, based on what cycle you want to meet, and if you want to do damageless. Fur there, unfortunately, takes some damage, has to wait for the water cycle. It's kind of the worst case scenario here, but, once the water level's down, there's not a lot you can do aside from just waiting. So Asaddine does the exact same thing, takes some damage, waits for the water cycle. Both runners having to face the reality of the Flooded Pipeway. And then they make the climb up here to the maze. First to wait for an uproot to spawn. And Asadine's going to be right behind him. So they're breaking another nut with the uproot, and Fur ditches the uproot, says, "See you, nerd, I'm out of here." Gonna move on to better places. Grabs the checkpoint just for safe, security. It is possible to fall off the edge of the map here and eat a death, and you don't want to come back at the Flooded Pipeway. If you can come back at that checkpoint, it's much better for your mental health. So here's the first of the story moons in the run for Wooded Kingdom. And Asaddine is going to be getting the uprootless nut and heading to that same story moon. Still relatively close between these two runners. Let's see, forgot the cutscene at 9. Oh, and he's going for the railing strats. Oh, he doesn't get the triple jump on the railing. He's just going to go for the P-switch. Yeah, so we've got about 15 seconds separating these runners right now. It is not a lot. Yeah, Asaddine just goes straight for the P-switch, says, I don't want any of that P-switchless nonsense. I'm just going to, play it straight, take it nice and easy. So Fur is now inside the final tower of this kingdom as Asaddine follows. They're going to collect 2 more moons using the uproot and then head up to the boss fight. So there's the first moon from Fur. You use motion controls to extend up further than you normally can. Oh, it's a little bit of a tight window here. Yeah, there it is. And he's able to get the second moon as Asaddine gets the first. Again, very close between these two runners right now. And here's the boss fight. So this is Spirit, the rabbit. This is probably the most trivial, easiest boss fight in the entire run. There's not a lot to say here. You just sit on his head, and he can't do anything, and he's sad, and he loses, and you win. So there's the kill from Fur. And here's going to be the kill from Asaddine. Yep. So the distance now has shortened to about 11 seconds between these runners. Again, very, very close race right now. But that will be the end of the Wooded Kingdom. They're going to collect these 3 moons in this Grand Moon, put them in the Odyssey, and move on to bigger and better places. So again, you might not be able to tell because this game is in Japanese. The runners are playing in Japanese right now, and I imagine that not many people here can read Japanese, especially at the rate. They're just clicking through all the text boxes, not really reading anything that's going on here. But it's actually the case that, as you'll see, as Fur finishes powering up the Odyssey and goes into the Kingdom Select screen, the game actually says, oh, hey, we're next. Now we're going to the Metro Kingdom, which everyone I'm sure knows from all the advertisements, going to New Donk City and hitting the Metro Kingdom and all the Metropolis area. It's really cool, and it's like the one thing that Nintendo advertised the most about this game, and everyone's really excited for the Metro Kingdom, right? But we run into a bit of a surprise here. We're on our way. Cappy notices something outside the window and says, that's peculiar. And since we're skipping cutscenes, you don't actually get to see it. But here we are in the Cloud Kingdom. And something's not right. We're not in the Metro Kingdom. We're making a pit stop here. Where's this place? It's like a ship over there or something. Is that... No. Oh my god, dude, we're fighting Bowser! Ah! So there's a boss fight here. Ooh, Fur gets the super fast hat grab. It's able to use Bowser's boxing glove hat to hit him. See if he can go for fast strats again. Looks like he's going to try to backflip and get this hat as soon as it's available. And Asaddine is not going to be going for the fast hat grab here. You see moons so many times in this run because they grab so many moons, but this time it's hats. So Fur did not get the earliest frame hat grab there, but still a pretty quick grab. Yep, pretty fast boss fight. So one more cycle for Asaddine. I'm going to be following up Fur shortly. And so after fighting Bowser, we actually crash land in this weird place, this island, the Lost Kingdom. And Fur is going to want to maneuver off to the left here, or, not on the intended path over to the right, because over to the right is a cutscene zone where a bird named Klepto will actually steal Mario's hat, and you have to go through this platforming sequence to get it back, and it's just a whole mess, and, we as speedrunners don't want to do that, so we're not going to do it. Just going to collect the moons that we need to move on anyway, and not deal with any of that cutscene nonsense. And Asaddine's going to give a go at the meme tree as well. Going to do triple jump. And gets it. The meme tree did not meme either of these runners today. That's always good. So here, after Fur collects this moon, he's actually going to head over to the platform where the bird Klepto is and activate it. So what that does is, since we skipped over the cutscene where Klepto got the hat, Klepto doesn't have the hat, but we've triggered it into thinking we're in a fight with it, the fight where you get your hat back. So it thinks that it actually does have the hat right now, and that deactivates the cutscene, so we are now free to explore the rest of the level with no worries. So Fur is just going to collect the last couple of moons here, and Asaddine's going to get another moon and also trigger the Klepto fight here. Ooh, Fur with fast strats. Breaks the cage and gets the moon. He's going to get this moon under the bridge here and try to get back up top, and is unable to. So you can get back over the bridge and roll back to the Odyssey, or you can die and be death warped back to the Odyssey. It is slightly slower to be death warped back to the Odyssey, but it's relatively insignificant. So I'm gonna say okay. That's fine. So Asaddine is not going to go for blowing up the iron crate, but instead just going for the stone cage here. And then also heading to the moon beneath the bridge. And this moon's a little bit scary because it is close to the purple goop, and the purple goop is a one-hit instant death. But Asaddine gets the moon. Can I go for Deathless? Nah, just eats the death. So that 10 coin loss is kind of baked into the route, Asaddine is really short on coins now, is going to need coins before going to the Snow Kingdom. So after Metro Kingdom, which Fur is in right now, you can go either Seaside or Snow. Probably, I'm going to guess that Asaddine will go Seaside first to get some coins before going to Snow, but Fur is free to go to Snow first if he chooses. One of the interesting things here is that we start Metro in the nighttime when there's a big storm and it's raining all over, and the game wants you to go left and fight some tanks in a gauntlet, but, we just use some platform to get up this building because, we don't want to play the game the way the game wants us to play. But we do have to go through this story sequence in the Metro Kingdom before we're allowed to, fully unlock the whole kingdom and get all the moons available to us. And we do need a lot. We need 20 total moons to get through the Metro Kingdom. So there are not enough moons here in this nighttime story sequence. You do have to actually complete the story sequence and unlock all the moons that, you will need to advance. So Fur going to be entering the town hall and looking to make the climb. Asaddine gets a little bit of trouble on that girder, but makes its way to the electrical wire anyway. And Fur makes the elevator cycle. Very nice. Oh, Asaddine hits a little bit of a bonk, trying to get on the awning jump up the building. Gets it second try. Oh, a little bit of a bonk from Fur, getting that one moon in the town hall before making the long jump across the chasm all the way to the door. And Asaddine's going to be looking to enter the town hall next to make the very same climb that Fur just completed. And this is the Mecha Wiggler boss fight. This is the final portion of the nighttime Metro sequence, and possibly the most infuriating. So there was the first cycle that you saw Fur complete there. There it was. Now the Wiggler is going to go invulnerable, untargetable. It does lots of damage as it runs across the arena to you if it hits you. So we just have to wait here, wait for it to be available to hit on the next cycle. It is possible to kill the Mecha Wiggler in the second cycle, but if you do not hit all of its body segments, it will go untargetable again, run across the arena again, and you have to wait until the third cycle, which is a huge time loss runners really want to avoid that, so they want to try to get the second cycle kill if they can. Asaddine makes it over the chasm as well, can hit the checkpoint and head into the Mecha Wiggler boss fight as well. So here's Fur trying to get all the segments to get the 2-cycle kill onto the Wiggler. Only has 3 more segments to hit, and gets it. So just a couple more shots and the Mecha Wiggler will be dead on the second cycle. So here's Asaddine in between the first and second cycles as Fur grabs the Grand Moon. This can be one of the most, twiddle your thumbs parts of the run where you just wait for the Mecha Wiggler to allow itself to hit you again. It can be really frustrating to just sit there like, all right, I want to hit you. Can I shoot now, please? Okay, cool, thanks. But here comes the second cycle. Asaddine has the chance to kill the Mecha Wiggler right here, right now. Or could take until the third cycle as well. Gets most of the segments, looks like, on the first pass through, but he's that one last one. Oh my goodness, gets it right as the Mecha Wiggler was going to become invulnerable. That was very, very close. Asaddine gets the second cycle kill onto the Mecha Wiggler. And now Fur, traveling through daytime metro, going to be collecting the rest of the 15 moons in the daytime. He already got 1, and that's the 2, so needs 13 more moons to advance. About a minute separating these runners right now. Yeah, so since we do need so many moons from the Metro Kingdom, and there are so many available, routing for a while in this kingdom was in flux, but I think we've mostly decided on a consistent, stable route that's goes by pretty quickly because there are just so many moons available to you to collect here. So trying to just do it as quickly as possible, it's always what we want here. So Asaddine doing the RC car here. Having a little bit of trouble with the RC car. It's going to be really tricky to maneuver. It is like a real RC car. The left analog stick moves you forwards and backwards. The right analog stick moves you left and right. So you have to coordinate your sticks to move the RC car. It can be really, really punishing if you don't get it, with your first setup. So little tough there. So it looks like Fur is potentially gaining some ground here, making the gap even further ahead of Asaddine. So Asaddine did have some trouble with the RC car moon there. Oh, a little bit of a bonk there. And it is worth noting, after Fur collects the next couple moons, since we are listening to Fur's audio right now, we're gonna come across one of the dankest memes in the community. I hope y'all are ready for it. Don't do it too soon. Don't do it. Everyone does it too soon. You gotta wait on it. Gotta let it. Just let it hang in the atmosphere. It's out there. We know it's coming. Just wait. Just wait. Alright. So now Fur only needs 3 more moons to advance. Asaddine climbing the tallest skyscraper for the highest moon in the game. Second highest, I should say. My bad.
Hi. Oh.
Talk to the drummer, he says. Yow. Throws the hat at Pauline, says, "Hey, lady, I don't need your. She's just giving you her problems. I don't need your problems, lady." trying to get you to solve her problems for her. But we're going to anyway. We're going to squeeze one more moon out of the dead Mecha Wiggler and talk to the bassist, who has something interesting to say. OTEP? Yay! So that is the final moon of the Metro Kingdom for Fur. Teleport back to the Odyssey and hightail it out of here. And Asaddine's going to be coming right up on the same section, talking to the drummer and then the bassist. Since Chad is asking, the current PBs of these runners, Fur is looking at a 1 hour, 9 minute, 45 second PB. Asaddine is sitting on a 1 hour, 12 minute, 53 second PB. So a little over 3 minutes separating these runners' PBs. And Fur is probably going to be heading over to the Snow Kingdom since he does have enough coins to purchase that moon directly that he needs. And the silent OTEP is the deadliest. Another OTEP. Yay! So, since Asaddine only has 55 coins right now, is a little short. Probably going to be heading to the Seaside Kingdom to grab those coins needed for the purchase in the Snow Kingdom before heading to Snow. So, a little bit of route divergence here. We're going to see Fur in Snow and Asaddine in Seaside, but they are on the same number kingdom in their route, if that makes sense. Fur's going to do Snow and then Seaside. Asaddine's going to do Seaside and then Snow. So, their paths are going to crisscross here for a little bit. And there is Asaddine choosing Seaside. So here in Shiveria, since Fur collected the moon from Captain Toad outside in the blizzard, and that's the only moon you can collect outside in the blizzard, all the rest are here in Shiveria. You need 10 total moons to advance from Snow, and there are 13 total available to you, so routing options are a little limited here. Not too many variations you're going to see in the routes within Snow Kingdom. But I am now joined by JKB. Welcome aboard.
Hey, how's it been going so far?
It's going all right. We got a pretty tight race here. It was we were within like 10 seconds to each other coming out of Wooded. A little bit of a gap now after Metro. I think there's about a minute between them still, but you know, pretty darn close.
I was just say I pulled up the stream and both were in Metro, pretty much the same spot. So
yeah.
Definitely a nice tight race coming in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, it's a little hard to see exactly who's ahead right now, given that they chose a little route divergence, Snow and Seaside separately, but you know, that's what makes it interesting. We'll be able to see after they come out on the other side of both of these two kingdoms what happened and how it shakes out after all is said and done.
Yeah, see, I take it Fur picked up Sphinx and Asaddine did not.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, so usually if you don't have all those coins from Sphinx, you have to stop by Seaside first. Doesn't really cost any time though.
Yeah, it's just the time cost of menuing down one option. So not too big a deal there, but I know there's, it could be a psychological thing too, if you're used to going to Snow and like, oh wait, I didn't grab all the coins I needed, crap, and you have to go to Seaside, but both these runners looks like plan to go to these respective kingdoms, so none of that here.
Yep, so perfectly fine toxic windy room, whatever you want to call that room, from Fur. Yeah, we're about to see Asaddine pick up all the coins he needs, pretty much, for the Snow Kingdom.
I believe it's like 48 coins or something like that in this tunnel, and needed 38 to get to 100, so definitely be good to go after this cave here. Yeah, there's the one hundo.
Perfectly even, too.
Oh. There's the switch.
They walked on their own.
That's kind of awkward, but okay. So here's Asaddine collecting the second to last moon in the Seaside Kingdom, looking to close it out.
Ooh. Very nice recovery there from Fur.
A little spicy. Yep. So now Fur only has to collect one more moon in Snow as Asaddine ports to the Odyssey to finish out Seaside. Opts not to go for fast pipe strats, but you know, it's okay. Not stressing too terribly much. He did have a lead coming out of Metro, so I don't know if he's keeping an eye on his lead, but
yeah, some runners like to keep tabs, some of them prefer to stay in the dark until they're done with the race.
And we do see both runners' timers hitting red here, though, so clearly a little bit behind pace for both of them. There were a couple of hiccups, a few missteps here and there, but they're keeping relatively on track, with respect to each other.
Yeah, leaving each kingdom at the same time. Snow takes a little bit more time than Seaside, but not a terribly huge amount more. So
yeah, I think it's like a minute and a half maybe, depending on the runners. For the length of each kingdom, Snow is a little longer. And if we're just comparing like the best possible theoretical times in each kingdom, it might be a little bit more separation, but varies from runner to runner. So I'll say 4 minutes is the or I'm sorry, what am I saying?
A minute and a half would be
minute and a half difference. Yep.
Split, yeah.
I was trying to talk about two things at once. Minute and a half difference. There we go.
Yeah, we'll know for sure definitely once we start hitting luncheon.
This is the last match of tonight, but there are just a bunch of matches for tomorrow. This is the final week that the competitors have to close out the group stage matches. So they need to finish all the remaining group stages matches they haven't played yet this week. So definitely going to see a lot more in the next couple of days, but already a bunch scheduled for tomorrow. Due to scheduling constraints, not all of them, are promised to be restreamed, broadcast on these channels, but you'll definitely get your fair share of Odyssey in the next couple of days, that I promise.
Yeah, and as for the group these guys are in, it looks like this is Fur's last match and Assaddine's second. It looks like they're going to be the top 2 seeds coming out of the group too, so if Asaddine does pull out a win here, he could come out as the first seed and upset Fur a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But even if Asaddine does take a loss here, one more win against the 4th player in the group would definitely seal the deal of Asaddine advancing to the next round. So this is not necessarily an elimination match. There is still one more game in their group to be played after this one, but if Fur wins, 100% going through to the next stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually looking at it, looks like either way Fur's making it through. This is just a matter of if he wins, he gets first seed. If he loses, then
it depends on tiebreakers.
Yeah, then it depends on tiebreakers.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think the admins have officially commented on the final method for determining tiebreakers. I think it was either like your average time or your best time of your 3, or there are a couple of methods that they may choose to employ, but basically what it boils down to for runners is you want to get the best time you possibly can in every single race, and put your all on there, because your time will be used as a tiebreaker if you happen to have ties in your group, and used as seeding for the elimination stages. So getting a good time is what you want to do. And yeah, for anyone in chat who wants to speedrun this game, go ahead and just start doing runs. It's very, very accessible. This is pretty early stages of you have to play through the whole story and go through everything straight through. there are a couple of exploits and things to make it faster, but we're not doing gigantic skips like Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time just yet. None of that craziness. So it's pretty easy to get into if you are interested.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely think we'll be seeing some new runners popping up now that we've got Christmas and soon some Boxing Day action coming out to where lots of people will be getting the game and jumping into the runs.
Oh yeah, for sure. So here's for closing out Seaside. Asaddine has one more moon to collect before it can close out Snow Kingdom. So again, a little bit of a gap between the runners here, but not terribly much. I mean, lots can happen. Lots can go right and lots can go wrong in the last couple of kingdoms here.
That it can.
Yeah, so here's Fur coming up on the Luncheon Kingdom, the obligatory food-themed kingdom in the game.
Yeah, and the complimentary Pepto-Bismol that is the lava of the level.
Yes, the lava in this, there is lava, but it looks like Pepto. I was really confused when I first saw this stuff. I thought it was going to be like something you could swim through or something, but no, it's just lava and it burns you and then you're sad.
Just like Pepto.
Just like Pepto. Pretty much. I mean, here's Asaddine coming up onto Luncheon. So we might still see, again, the routes have come back together. Seaside Snow coming back into Luncheon, but there is still one last route divergence that we could see, and that is one of the side rooms that the runners might choose. I should note again, the Spewart fight. Nothing's different, nothing's new. It's the same thing. You sit on his head, and he's sad, and then he dies.
Pretty much, yeah. Asaddine is about 42 seconds behind going into Luncheon. So a little bit of ground to make up, but I mean, one or two mistakes can cancel that out in a moment. So
yeah, for sure. Oh, and a bit of a bonk, trying to get the tough jump up the wall. This is one of the tighter jumps to make in the run. You have to get as much height as possible out of each part of your ascent, or else you won't make it. You will bonk. But there, Asaddine makes it the next time around.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little awkward getting up, and I mean, really easy to screw up. Basically, you have to throw Cappy out and wait a moment before diving, because you get a little bit of extra height just from that. Every little bit counts for doing it. Definitely.
Yeah, so here's for entering the first side room. There are a couple different side rooms that runners can choose from in this kingdom, and one of the more popular route deviations is the choice between two rooms, each containing 2 moons. One of them is the Forks room, and one of them is the Lava Bubble room. This is a highly divisive topic, and many runners are very opinionated on which one is the right room. But again, depending on which one you choose and which you're comfortable with, different things can go wrong or right, depending on which room you choose. So things to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the good things about this game, though, is that you can have a bunch of different routes. I mean, so many times routes has been changed for some kingdoms, especially like Sand or Metro, to where, I mean, we have route changes that change a bunch of different moons to save about 2 or 3 seconds, but you could always just go that slower, more comfortable route, and I mean, if that suits you better, it suits you better.
Yeah, especially when you're learning the game too. It's like, okay, well, I can do this, like the Sphinx clip, like frame perfect inputs to save 7 seconds, or just not deal with that.
Yeah.
So, Fur dropping into the Pepto, has 1 HP left. Needs to make it across here without taking any damage. Gets the moon. Ooh. Just sweating a little bit.
Yeah, so fortunately he grabbed the flag right there, so he wouldn't be losing too much time, but all the same, it's definitely a bit of a panic.
Especially in a spot like that, it's like, oh man, I died there, really? It can be one of those things that just starts to tilt you a little bit off kilter.
Yep.
So here's Fur going to the fast flicking forks, using the motion controls for upward throws. And that is a fast fork room. Ooh. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hits the bonk, but does not fall all the way down to his death. Lands on the platform's edge. Oof. Just anxiety, man.
Yeah,
Anxiety.
with the way the Forks room is, since it is such a tall room, if you screw up towards the top of it, you lose a lot of time just falling down to your death if you don't manage to grab onto a fork. Let's see if we can do the lava boost jumps. The lava boost jumps are a little bit awkward to do.
You didn't get the first one. Let's get onto this platform up here. You're gonna head to the jutting crag. So let's see if Asaddine also goes for forks. After getting the moon on the pile of salt on the island. And here Fur's coming up on one of the more infuriating moons. You have to use these are not hammer bros, these are frying pan bros to break this cheese. And the specific pattern in which they throw the frying pans is pretty random, but is able to actually snipe the one cheese block with the switch and open up this moon. That was pretty nice.
So we also do see Asaddine opting not to go for forks. He's going to go for a lava maze, which won't happen until after the cheese rock moon.
Depending on which flags you get, you may or may not lose time. If they're in your path as you're just traveling along that line, sure, whatever, no time lost. But it's do you have to adjust your path to circle around and get a flag that you didn't need to get? That's kind of the question.
Yeah, so it does help in some cases though. If say you have 2 HP and you can get a flag without actually losing time to grab it, then you get that HP back, and then you don't have to wait for that animation to get a moon.
Yeah, I didn't neglect to bring that up. That's a good point. When you take damage, because moons heal you. Ooh, Fur!
He's gonna make this safety, but it's gonna be a little bit of a drop there.
When you take damage, the nice thing is that moons heal you after you take damage, heal you back to full. The sad thing for us speedrunners is that it actually takes, a little more than 2 seconds for the healing animation for your life bar to fill up after getting a moon. So, there's the time loss of, oh, you got hit, you can't do anything during the getting hit animation, and then you also lose time when you're healed. So, kind of a little bit of a slap in the face, but, we do what we can. So Fur closes out the Luncheon Kingdom with the final Grand Moon as Asaddine's in the lava bubble room. Gonna get 2 moons here, then head up the mountain.
Yeah, so you definitely don't want to grab any flags in Lost Kingdom either, because generally people will die on that last moon. You don't have to. There's a way to get out of it, but it's not really much of a loss in time.
Yeah.
But if you grab a flag, then you're not going to spawn next to the Odyssey, so...
Yeah, dying after you grab a flag just pops you back at that flag rather than the Odyssey, and then you're actually facing significant time loss. Yep, so looks like Fur has extended the lead to now a little over a minute. But Bowser's Kingdom can be quite daunting. There is one fight that Fur has to do before heading to Bowser's Kingdom, though. Asaddine getting that meat percent. So one last pit stop before Bowser's Kingdom, here in the Ruined Kingdom, which looks like a much darker tone than we're accustomed to in Mario.
That it is, and it's home to one of the most not exciting bosses of the game.
Yes, very exciting when you first see him. A big dragon, the Lord of Lightning. But it's pretty much an auto-scroller.
Yeah, it's a little lackluster after the first time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see a dragon in a Mario game, but now I'm just, the only thing that it is possible to do to make this, you basically make this as fast as possible by grabbing these swords out of its head on the very first frame they're available, if you can, and you do that by, using iframes to sit on its head until they actually are targetable. That's about the only strat there is to make this not a complete auto-scroller for you, but...
Yeah, and damage boosting is plenty easy to do because there's 4 hearts available and you only really need 2, so...
Yeah, you effectively have 7 HP for this fight, so you're not gonna die. There's no threat of dying. There's no super significant ways of speeding up, you know, just saving frames. So this is generally agreed upon to be just the low part of the run. But it is kind of nice. You get a little lull, chance to catch your breath before heading into the final two kingdoms.
Yeah, it's a nice break that's definitely necessary, almost, I would say, between Luncheon and Bowser.
Yeah, two of the roughest kingdoms to play consistently well in the game. It is not necessarily faster to take damage. It gives you a better chance of being there on the first frame to pull out the swords. But Asaddine there was there on the first frame without taking damage, so you do not need to take damage, but it bolsters your chances of success.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier, you do get your health back when you get a moon, and there's that animation. But if it's a grand moon, then there is no animation, since you have all of these other lovely animations already taking that spot.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about abusing the damage boosting, but like it honestly saves frames. It's not super significant.
Yeah.
So that's the Ruin Kingdom. And now first coming up onto Bowser's Kingdom, aka Japan. This kingdom is basically a long gauntlet of boss fights and platforming challenges, and I think it's also, aside from Metro, the longest kingdom in the run. So definitely takes up some time and can be very, it is a gauntlet in the truest sense of the word. It can be very demanding, both, mentally and emotionally. So trying to play consistently well the whole way throughout is very, very challenging.
Yep. And we do see Fur picking up the behind the wall moon, using the Cappy homing attack to latch onto that bird after dropping down to get the moon to just instantly teleport himself back up. So there are a couple of different routes as far as getting the 2 extra moons that you need in Bowser's Kingdom aside from the main story moons. There's not terribly huge difference. I mean, say
it's a couple of seconds.
Yeah, so compared to the route that we've had for most of the game's lifetime to the route that we have now, it's maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah. And this is the only kingdom really where we actually do have to do the story moons. You use these electrical wires to progress from section to section, but you cannot use the electrical wires. They're not there for you to use until you grab the story moons. So we actually do have to get the story moons here, and that isn't even enough. After getting all the story moons, you need 2 additional moons to progress after beating this kingdom. So it's like 2 slaps in the face, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's for activating the second story moon, as Asaddine activates the first story moon. So Fur has already collected 1 additional moon, as Asaddine just got the very first moon, the story moon. So still needs 2 non-story moons in addition to progress.
Yeah, see, I'm buzzing from him. We're probably going to see the Bird Glory Hole moon, as it is so lovingly named by Twitch chat, and pretty much everyone gets the above the wall moon. That's right, the second story moon.
Yeah, the one Fur just got.
Yep.
So as Asaddine collects the moon shards here, Fur heading into a section of the level which has you refighting old bosses. So here we fight Topper again, But this time, he's bigger and he's better. He's got more hats. We can still fast cycle him, cancel his phase there, but it's harder the second time around here. There are so many more hats. Yeah, so Fur does not land that fast cycle. Has to hunt down the correct hat with Topper. This can be really frustrating to have to deal with. But he does hunt it down pretty quickly.
Yeah, so fortunately it's in pretty much the same spot every time. But all the same, when you have so many there, even if you know which one it is, it's kind of hard to actually hit it.
So Asaddine gets the moon from the hole in the wall, and Fur starts the Harriet fight. Now, this is the first time we actually, first and only time, I should say, we see Harriet in the any % route. So this is it. You know, this is your chance to see the only female Brutal.
I mean, there's Madam Brutal.
That's true. That's true.
Say Fur on 1 HP here has got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, Madam Brutal's another one we only see once, so easy to forget about.
Yeah, so Asaddine picking up the other non-storyman that he needs, so he's good to go. And for making it through the battle without dropping that last bit of HP, so he's going to make it through just fine.
A little bit of spiciness there. So as for finishes up the second boss fight, Asaddine starts the first one. See if he can't quick cycle Topper here. Gets the first cancel.
It's a bit of an opportunity to pick up some time if he gets both of them.
Does not get the second cancel. Has to now hunt down the correct hat.
He found it.
It's that one. There it is. Yeah, it's always really good to be able to get that hat fairly early on. If it's literally the last hat available that you check, and that's the one that's always a come on man moment.
We're doing this section top down. It's a little bit spooky, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's hard to look at, honestly, but able to maneuver his way all the way over there to the Pokio bird without taking a single hit of damage or bonking. So, hey, you know, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yep. So say goodbye to the Pokio. This is the last time that Fur's going to use him, probably. Oh no, he dives the wrong way. I take it back. He's going to grab another Pokio. Grabs the checkpoint this time, just in case.
So it would have been good if that Pokio dropped back down. He would have been able to grab it right away. But
yeah.
Unfortunately, it made it up and Mario did not. Alright. Fur has got to do Mecha fairly well if he wants to keep his lead. Because otherwise, Asadine's going to have a chance to catch up. Does not get birdless on the first try. He's going to go for it again.
Oh, he's going for the alternate method of birdless on the leg. Front of the leg, that is. And he gets up to Spewart, takes him out, and wants to try to get back on top of the Brutal. Top of the Mecha.
Might be a little low.
He's going to get blocked by the ears. Oh, no. He was a little too low there. Got blocked by the ears as the face turned around. So now he has to wait for a bird. It's his only option. And now he has to wait for the next phase where it's vulnerable. He can't do anything right now.
Ooh, Asaddine taking a death on his way to the climb up.
So just for ditching the bird, gonna ground pound Topper there and get back on him.
Alright, looks like he'll make it up this time, probably.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. So there's no way to skip this particular cycle. The way Mecha Builder works, this is the only time that they're really invincible. But once he's done running around, then you can get the next one.
Yep.
Alright, he makes it back on for the last one. Just gotta get that ground pound. Nice.
There it is.
Alright, Asaddine making his climb up. Makes it up without issue. If he has a really good Mecha Brutal, he could see a chance to catch back up. Fur would still have to probably screw up Moonskip or something just to make it possible, but you never know.
A number of things can happen here to let Asaddine gain some ground, but assuming that Fur tries not to take too many risks, this is a significant enough lead that could just close it out and take the W. Yep, so Asadine's going to get on top again. Oh,
no, not quite.
The ears every time. Every time with the ears. Yep, so Asaddine having a very similar fight to Fur. Gonna knock down the Mecha Brutal, and ground pound the crap out of the cockpit. Try to stay on top for the last one. Or sorry, second to last one. This is the rampaging phase. Yeah, actually killed Rango before Topper.
Ooh, careful. Careful.
Ooh, no. That's really unfortunate. Again, has to wait for another bird. Fur is going to be abusing moon gravity here.
So for those who do not know, normally on the moon you have to go into that cave entrance that you can see in the top left there on first screen. However, unfortunately, for a Nintendo at least, we're able to just kind of go up around the side and we'll jump our way upwards instead.
Normally the game wants you to only wall jump between parallel walls, but because of moon gravity, we can do it off of perpendicular walls here. Didn't quite get the height he needed, so I have to try again. Asaddine not going to be able to get the ground pound. Let's get up again.
Alright, for making it through Moonskip with only a small error. Asadine's gotta be careful not to die here. See, I think he's on the last phase, isn't he?
He is, yes. Sitting on 1 HP can be a little spooky. Just to get this hit. Alright, there it is. Now just get up on top and deal the last blow. There it is. So this Bowser fight is pretty much identical to the fight in the Cloud Kingdom. He throws more hats at you, and he has an additional phase, which is unskippable, where he just spits fire all around the arena, and it's, you know, basically a floor scan. So that's about it. It's the same fight otherwise.
Yeah, see, and the fire, the hitbox on it is pretty much ground level, and if you're much more than a pixel or two off the ground, you're not going to get hit by it. So
yeah.
Let's see if we go for the fast track here. Gets the first one. Very nicely done.
Oh, gets hit by the tail, so Bowser jumps away, and he has to deal with the phase that we usually skip in these fights. Ooh, takes another hit of damage. He could be looking at a death here if he doesn't play carefully. So there's Asaddine exiting Bowser's Kingdom, going to also be heading to the moon.
So choosing not to go for the hard strike here so we can pick up that HP. Probably a smart idea.
Doing it with 1 HP can be a little bit of a too big a risk, I'd say. So he decides to play it safe and just get the kill onto Bowser. So now he begins the escape sequence. And the escape sequence we are going to see Fur play as Bowser and claw and fireball his way out here. So now there is one final trick that we might see. There's a section where you actually become 2D Bowser, and you can platform your way up, skip, part of the section and save like 2 or 3 seconds. The punishment for failing though is that you fall to your death and start the entire Bowser section over from the beginning. So see if Fur here goes for and nails the 2D skip, or just decides, nah, it's too risky, I'm not going to do it. So he goes for it, gets the first jump, gets the second one, and he nails it.
Nicely done. So Asaddine, meanwhile, is beginning to start moon skip. Gets it first try, very nicely done.
Roll the way up to the chapel, fight Bowser, and then do the escape sequence that Fur's doing right now. So it looks like that Fur is going to be able to clutch this one out, secure the win. As we come across the Sour Please section of the run. Coming up on the last pillar. It looks like it's going to be a high 111 for Fur.
Yep.
So no PB today for Fur, unfortunately, but wins the race nonetheless. And Fur finishes with a split timer of 1:11:38, an official SRL time of 1:11:46. GG to Fur.
Yeah, that is definitely a respectable time to get in a race. See, and this will secure him a spot as the top seed coming out of his group. Asaddine will have one more race to determine if he makes it out or if there are a bunch of tiebreakers for his group. Because the one person he has left to play is currently 0-2, and if that person beats Asaddine, then all 3 of the other players in the group will be 1-2, and then it'll
be an interesting scenario there.
Yeah. So I don't think we've had any big tiebreakers like that yet. We might have a 2-1 somewhere, but
yeah. Certainly an interesting scenario to see play out, but we're just gonna have to wait and see on that one. See if doesn't look like Asaddine has scheduled the final match in the group yet. At least not on the official schedule, so it does seem to be played this week, so it will happen.
Yeah, so we're probably going to have a decent amount of matches happening this week as everyone tries to get their matches done as the deadline hits. And then shortly after, we will have the bracket part of the tournament beginning. I will see if Asaddine goes for 2D skip. Opting not to this time.
Yep, so I was mistaken in what I said earlier. Apparently, again, let's just say I was wrong. I was looking at sum of best rather than actual PB time. So Asaddine's current PB is a 1:14:19. Doesn't look like going to be breaking that today, but still pretty darn close to it, honestly. So I think definitely a respectable, certainly impressive run from each runners, I would say, given how close it is to their PBs.
Yeah, it's not easy to come into a race, especially for a tournament, and perform within, a minute or so of your PB. A lot of things can go wrong, and being in a race for a tournament, it's about 10 times more tense and nerve-wracking as it is to just be.
Yeah, pressure's on. You got a bunch of people watching you and talking about how you're doing.
Yep. But hey, both of them stood up to the pressure fairly well.
Yeah, so I mean, Asaddine within a minute of PB here. That's. I always say, you know, if you get within a minute of your PB in a race, that's, you know, you played as well as you could reasonably be expected to play in a race setting, and that's, you know, there is no shame in that at all. Let's see if we can't pull them in. But yeah, GG to both the runners. Asaddine closes out with a 1:15:02, an official SRL time of 1:15:03, which is a PB in a race setting by 2 minutes.
Very nicely done by him. Joining us, we have Fur. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
Doing all right. How you feeling about that run there?
I'm feeling all right. I haven't had as much time to practice because of holidays, so I'm happy how that turned out.
Yeah, I feel you there.
That's fair. Yeah. I you know, watching this race, you two started to come away from each other somewhere in the Metro Kingdom, but early on, like, you know, up through Wooded, I would say you two were neck and neck, you know, within 10 seconds or so of each other. It was super exciting to see, you know, early on. Did you feel particularly good or bad about your early game?
I felt like I could have done a lot better in my early game. Like, I took the Death and Sand Kingdom.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think I played sloppy and Lake Kingdom as well, so I could have definitely done better, but it was all right.
I botched sand pretty bad.
Hello, Asaddine. I didn't properly introduce you, so welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, you know, but I guess both of you did have your struggles early on, but you know, you know, from a third party perspective, it seemed relatively, you know, super even. I would say super even, not relatively, super even early on. And you know, yeah, you both made missteps, but it was pretty darn close. And Asaddine, you came within a minute of your PB actually. I think that's a pretty respectable time to post in a race. You know, given how close it was. Yeah, and you know, again, mistakes happen. You know, we always are very self-critical, but you know, that's really respectable.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a pretty decent run, but I think honestly, like, I think, were we pretty close for most of it? And I probably lost a lot of time at Mecha Brutal. Sure.
Yeah.
They say Mecha Brutal, and then I tuned in around the beginning of Metro, and you guys were pretty close at that point, less than a minute off of each other. So.
Yeah, going into Metro, I think, or coming. Let me see if I can get my facts straight here. Around Wooded, you were about 11 seconds apart. Around Metro, you were about a minute apart. So somewhere in the Metro-ish area was when times deviated, and then Mecha Brutal just decided you can't have a run today, huh?
So
it happens all the time.
Yeah, I say Mecha Brutal wasn't kind to either of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
When is Mecha Brutal kind?
Never.
No.
When you're right, you're right.
It's one of those things you have to wrangle and, you know, push it into the ground and say, no, you are not going to do your thing today. But yeah, certainly interesting things happening all across the run. But, you know, again, you know, very respectable times to be, you know, to post and runs to be seen here. Lots of things that are, you know, swag strats, little harder things to do that didn't quite work out, or, you know, had to go down the second time. But I mean, overall, like, pretty impressive in a race setting.
Thank you.
We have a question from chat. What do each of the runners have for advice for brand new runners wanting to run this game?
Fur, you want to go first?
Sure. So the main thing, and this is just with any speedrun, is you gotta practice to get better. It's just one of the things you gotta do. You gotta keep working, and if something is you're having trouble with it, just keep practicing it. And then another thing is, if like in this game, there's a lot of different things you can do. You don't have to necessarily do everything the world record run does, especially if you're just picking up the game. There's a lot of moons you could even switch out if you're having trouble with them, so you don't need to like go for everything super crazy right away. That's for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. This game in particular is pretty unique in that like you can do so many different methods of reaching, you know, whatever type of moon. And I mean, I feel like in consideration to the world record, like I'm still going by the world record set like a month ago or two. But now it's like completely different strats, but I just feel comfortable with what I do. So it's more like you just want to find a certain route that you would normally take that you don't feel is too risky. Like you don't ever want to, if you want to like improve your speedrunning game, like you'd want to like kind of push your push the boundary, but don't like go for full on risk all the time, because then you just get frustrated, you know, like if you can't like get a full run. So yeah, basically practice and just try to improve yourself.
Yeah, so definitely something that I've heard a lot of. It's that this game is something of a router's dream, where you know you can go into a world, pick up whatever moons you want, whatever order you want. Not really a whole lot to determine that aside from the story moons and what they unlock. So I mean, if you have a moon or some particular strat or whatever that you have a little bit of difficulty with, I mean, there's a Google Doc on the Discord that you can find. You can ask for help. There's plenty of people willing to give you alternatives if you have problems with something, or to help you learn something if you have difficulty learning it.
But yeah, this is probably one of the most accessible games. Just pick it up and play it and see what works and see what doesn't, and you know, just give it a go. And over time, you'll come to learn. And we will teach you, young Padawan. We will teach you. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Thanks again for joining us, guys. Great runs. Really, GG. I know you have one more run, Asaddine. Is that already scheduled?
I am still talking to the other contestant for that. So I think hopefully we should do it this week, or what is it?
You better.
Yes, that's all right. Yeah, so I will work on that. I'm trying to get a response from him.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, I look forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep,
all right. Just gonna put some links in the chat here. Don't forget to follow the runners. Follow the commentators if you like what you heard for commentary. There is currently a Link to the Past randomizer race going on the twitch.tv Speed Gaming 2 channel. Be sure to follow all the Speed Gaming channels, and we're going to have plenty of Odyssey in the coming week as we need to wrap up all the group stage matches, so feel free to come by anytime. And I think that's all I got.
Alright, well, everyone have a good night or morning, depending on your time zone. Good luck to Fur in Bracket and Asaddine. Hopefully you make it through as well. Good luck to you with your last race. And we'll see you all in the coming days. There's plenty of runs left to be done over the course of this week, so be sure to stick around, stay tuned, check the schedule out. I mean, there will be plenty of watching to do, so see you guys around.
Take it easy, y'all.